Cabo, Cabo, welcome, welcome. Oriire Funo, good tidings to you. I pray that you're feeling awake, aware, and elevated in mind, body, and spirit, wherever you are and whatever may be happening around you. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. I'm Baba Umar, Oluranse Emese, voice of the MSA, member of the Isoro Traditional Council of Chiefs in Ile-Ife, Nigeria, Oluwo of the House of Umar, and Babalao of Ile-Ife Orisa, the House of the Mysteries of the Orisa. Thank you for joining us for another video lesson. Hopefully you're getting a great deal of growth out of these lessons, and if so, please go ahead and click that like button. Help us to expand the channel, and also share this information with family, friends, colleagues. You never know whose life you may change by that simple act of sharing. Homage to the one who sends and to those who are sent. Homage to Orisha and Egun. Our topic for this video lesson is the 16 Truths of Ifa, truth number 6. We are reborn through our relatives. This is part 2. The second part of this truth of Ifa states that we are reborn through our blood relatives. So obviously that poses the question, or should pose the question for us, why does rebirth take place through our blood relatives? Let's begin with Sacred Odu Ifa, the 75th Odu Ifa. This Odu is speaking specifically about the principle of rebirth. Aboru aboye. Kosi abiyamo, tiko lebi awo lomo. Kosi abiyamo, tiko lebi orunmile. Baba emi, bioba bini, ni pipe. Bo petiti arun bi, Baba eni lomo. So this Odu is saying, Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. There is no childbearing woman who cannot give birth to an Ifa priest. There is no woman who cannot give birth to Orunmile. Our Father, if he gives birth to us in full, inevitably we shall in time give birth to him in turn. Our Mother, if she gives birth to us in full, inevitably we shall in time give birth to her in turn. The Odu goes on and says, Ifa oracle was consulted for Orunmile, who said he would bring the heaven down to earth, and he would take the earth back to heaven. For him to accomplish his mission, he was asked to offer everything in twos. One male, one female, one ram, one ewe, one he-goat, one she-goat, one cock, one hen, and so on. Orunmile heeded the advice and performed the sacrifice. Thus, the earth became fruitful and multiplied greatly. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Our Father, if he gives birth to us in full, inevitably we shall in time give birth to him in turn. Our Mother, if she gives birth to us in full, inevitably we shall in time give birth to her in turn. So we're going to look into this more deeply in this talk. Let me begin with a self-disclosure. I am not a geneticist, and we're going to talk a little bit about genetics in this lesson. So just saying up front, I'm not a geneticist. I've studied some aspects of genetics, but don't consider me to be an expert, okay? So now that we've gotten that out the way, let's address the specific question as to why Ifa devotees and the sacred Oracles of Ifa, the 16 Truths of Ifa, states that we are reborn through our blood relatives. Why through our blood relatives? To answer this question and satisfy the right and left hemispheres of the brain, we must talk about the science of genetics, specifically about DNA and RNA. You see, there are logical, scientific, and spiritual reasons why our ancestors recognized and accepted this truth of Ifa. As stated in a previous post, quote, "This fifth truth points to the process and ceremony each of us must go through to claim our birthright. The Loja does not squander its abundance. It challenges the weak and lazy. The Loja supports life and growth. To claim our birthright, we must demonstrate that we also support life. That requires learning and striving to master the spiritual laws of the Loja. This is the reason you must pursue knowledge while you're on your journey. This is why we have this channel, to convey the knowledge and wisdom of Ifa to you so that you can grow and achieve that which you came into the world to achieve. Accumulated knowledge can come back with you each time you return. Imagine that you could give birth to your great-great-grandfather as he returns into the world carrying the wisdom of all of his rebirths, much of it to be forgotten in the birthing process. But there in his Oriire and his isha'ro, nonetheless, that information still exists. And imagine that one day in the future, one of your descendants will give birth to you as you too make your return journey into the Loja. This notion helps us to understand why some children seem to be so wise for their age, and we often use the expression that they are an old soul. We are reborn through lineage because Italo, expansion, requires the accumulation of knowledge. And that knowledge is locked up in the trillions of cells of our bodies as the blueprint and building blocks of our isha'ro, our body temple. Let's put something else in the calabash, another thought to carry through this talk. Let's reflect on what Ifa says about creating the good condition in the world. This is Irosu Iwori, the 78th Odu. Aboru Aboye. Quote, individually, what will be needed to attain the good condition in the world is wisdom that is fully adequate to govern the world as a whole. Sacrifice and cultivating the habit of doing good to the poor and or those who need your help. Desire to increase the world's prosperity rather than destroy it. And not let any good at all be lost. This Odu goes on and says, people will continue to go to heaven and they will continue to come back and forth to earth after their transfiguration until everyone has achieved the good condition. There are a lot of good things in heaven that are still not available on earth and will be obtained in due course. Thus, when all the children of Oduduwa gather together, those chosen to transfer the good things into the world are called Eniyan, human beings, or the chosen ones. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. So you and I come into the world and are chosen to convey knowledge, wisdom, understanding, special blessings that exist in heaven, to convey that information and those blessings to the rest of us on earth. Each one of us that comes to fulfill that process of bringing about the good condition in the world. Let's also reflect on what the Ifa creation story says about the fifth stage of creation. And we've touched on this information before in other lessons, so hopefully you're going back over the lessons, you're internalizing this information, and things are beginning to fall into place for you so that you have the information that you need in order to be able to achieve what you came into the world to achieve. Ashe. Stage 5. We're still in the fourth stage of creation and quickly moving into the fifth stage. Ifa stated that during this fourth stage of humanity, we'll be doing the same thing that the first Eniyan did, basically killing each other and destroying the planet without technological advances and other powers. And it's clear to you and to me that that's exactly what's happening in the world today. We look around us into our own political sphere, our other institutions, the relationship between nations, wars around the planet. We're killing and destroying the planet, species extermination, plants and animals and the water being polluted and dying out. We see this process of destruction taking place because of decisions that you and I are making and things that we are doing in the world. It goes on and says, many wars will commence and many will die. This will reach the point that the only way for true survival is going to be tradition. Remembering our roots, our practices, and sacred ways of nourishing the earth and ourselves. We will have to move into this way of life by force. Ifa says that although not everyone will want to live traditionally, yet it is the only way to appease the divine and prevent the Ajogun. So the fifth, the story, the Ifa creation story tells us that in the fifth stage of creation, there's going to be a separation taking place between those of us who want to move into the fifth stage, who want to elevate ourselves into a higher vibration, a higher level of consciousness, and those who are stuck in the third dimensional reality, focused on the material reality, on material pleasures, on short-term gain, rather than the long-term process of the evolution and expansion of human consciousness. The wisdom of the stage 5 of creation tells us that a new earth is coming. The earth grows and changes with the eons, and she is preparing all of us for what is to come. Slowly, the forgotten aspects of our world are beginning to be revealed and re-emerge from their silent slumber. The sacred shrines and places within nature are beginning to awaken to this time of their remembrance as they unveil themselves in all their glory in places all around the world. This fifth stage of creation tells us this new world shall come whether humanity as a collective is ready for it or not. Like a serpent, Mother Earth is shedding her skin, purifying and terraforming herself. When we see increasing floods and fires and earthquakes and volcanoes and the like, that is Mother Earth terraforming herself and preparing or making a place or evolving, allowing this new earth to emerge. And as Mother Earth is going through these changes, you and I also need to be going through changes so that we fit on a vibrational level with the vibration of the new earth. Time is beginning to move backwards, which is why ancient places and ancient archaeological sites are being found and now discovered all in places all around the world. Check out my Billy Carson, Gaia, and Greg Braden playlists if you want more information on these discoveries taking place all around the world about ancient sites and ancient technologies that show that there was a time when our ancestors were on the planet and much more advanced than we are today. It is with the old that we shall experience a new world, for it is within the ancient times that humanity was more spiritually and technologically advanced than we are today. It is also during this current time frame and period of profound change that the Irunmale, the Orisa, and wise old masters are returning to the earth. Some of those old masters are members of your bloodline, coming to assist you in bringing about the good condition. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. You may be one of those old masters that has come back in this, specifically in this time frame, so that you can participate in this process of bringing about the good condition and helping humanity to transition into the fifth stage of creation. Let's talk a little bit about DNA, about the genetics, the science of DNA, and answering this question of why rebirth through bloodline. As I said, I'm not a geneticist, and I've got more information in the PDF than I'm going to put in the video. So make sure you copy your PDF script from the website. All of the links and information that you need is in the description below. And study the hard copy so that you can get additional information. Okay. DNA provides the code for the cell's activities, while RNA converts that code into proteins to carry out cellular functions. By analogy, DNA is like the system hardware prescribing what is possible, and RNA is like the system software for running any specific program and set of functions. So RNA and DNA perform different but interdependent functions in humans. And again, I've got more information here than I'm going to spell out in this video, but go to the PDF copy if you want to look more into this. In other words, the informational blueprint of your and my ancestors, the Egun, is encoded into each successive generation of their blood relatives or lineage. This is how we accumulate knowledge and maintain isopo, connectivity with our egun. They are here in our aura ojubo, in our DNA, and in our ori through its ability to communicate on the spiritual plane. DNA stores the genetic information, whereas RNA uses the information to help our cells produce the proteins that facilitate your and my life processes, from cell division to metabolism to brain function throughout the life of your and my Aro-Jubo body temple. That you and I are borrowing this from Ile-Ife, Mother Earth. So as Mother Earth is going through her process of transformation, since our body is a part of Mother Earth, it too is going through a process of transformation, which is why you need to take time to sit back and in any given moment to be mindful of yourself. Ask you, what am I feeling right now? What's going on with my body today? How is this food agreeing or disagreeing with me? Something that maybe that you ate, months ago or years ago that was just great. You loved it, no problem with it, and now all of a sudden you eat the same thing and it's like, no, it's not settling right with me. Okay, that's because your body is changing. You're moving into a different vibrational state, and you need to be aware of that so that you can make necessary behavioral adjustments to accommodate the changes that are taking place. Apart from certain viruses, DNA rather than RNA carries the hereditary genetic code for all biological life on Earth. DNA is both more resilient and more easily repaired than RNA. As a result, DNA serves as a more stable carrier of the genetic information that is essential to survive and reproduce. Hence, the more stable the genetic material, the less are the chances of incorporation of mutations in the genome. So in terms of rebirth, should an ancestor choose to return to the experience of the Loja after, say, a century or 2 centuries, the vessel in which they will be received when they come back into the world, their Aura Ojubo, that Aura Ojubo will become their vessel for interacting with the vibrational frequency of the Loja. It will be coded with information that will be synchronized to them, like you driving a new car or a new model of the same car, same type of vehicle that you've driven before. It's just updated. So when your ancestors come back through you, you give birth to a child and it happens to be an ancestor from generations, multiple generations ago, there's a familiarity that they have with the world because they are in sync with the biological organism and the history of that organism and all of its generations. They're in sync with it because of DNA. Your DNA is a living bioelectrical, biochemical library. Because of the magnificent architecture of your body temple, you can tap into and draw upon information present in the universal consciousness, the divine mind, broadcasting and receiving information. The divine mind is a matrix of historical information, and the fact is that one of the organizing principles of that library is lineage. Hence, the 6th truth of Ifa. We are born through our blood relatives. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Ki Olu-dumare Orisha ati egun fifuneni itona imoye ati opo ere. May Olu-dumare Orisha and Egun bestow on you guidance, wisdom, and abundant blessings. Ifo kanbele, peace of mind from Olu-dumare. Mogbagbo ninutiyo, I believe in you. Alafia ati Ife, peace and love. Ajolo, Ajobo. We go out together, we return together. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Once again, let me ask you to please click that like button. Help us to grow the channel and reach more people with this wisdom. And do share this information with those that you have contact. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.